You know that moment when you finally check your loan balance and it says zero. Not pending, not almost done, zero. Most people refresh the screen just to be sure it's real. And then something strange happens. It's not just relief, it's a shift. But here's the part nobody explains. That moment isn't the win. What happens in the next 30 days is, and most people completely waste it. Two people, same job, same income, same city. Both just made their last car payment. One treats it like a finish line, celebrates, relaxes, upgrades a few things. A year later, nothing's really changed. The other treats it like a starting line. And 20 years later, their lives look nothing alike. The gap between them isn't luck. It's one decision made once, then repeated automatically. So before we talk about what to do next, you need to understand the scale of what just happened, because most people don't. My name is Nathan, and I spend way too much time thinking about how money actually works. Please do me a quick favor, show your support, and hit the subscribe button. Right now, Americans own nearly $2 trillion in auto loan debt. Not mortgages, not credit cards, cars. There are around 100 million people making a car payment every month, and the average payment has climbed to around $800. Not for luxury, that's just normal now. The typical loan stretches close to 6 years. Some stretch even longer. At that point, it barely feels like a purchase. It feels permanent. And the way people get there is almost always the same. They're not asked what they want to spend. They're asked what monthly payment works. And that one shift changes everything. Because if you focus on the monthly number, you'll agree to almost anything. The average amount financed is around $45,000. By the time it's paid off, that number turns into over $50,000 for something worth a fraction of that at the end. And over a lifetime, the average person spends close to $500,000 on cars. $500,000 on something that goes down in value every single year. So when that payment disappears, something big just happened. You didn't just finish a loan. You just freed up one of the largest recurring expenses in your life. And now the real question shows up. What do you do with it? Because most people give it right back. Not because they're careless, because nobody ever showed them what it's actually worth. So let's look at it. Imagine you take that $700 a month. Instead of sending it to a lender, you redirect it somewhere else. A basic low-cost index fund. Nothing fancy. Historically, the market has returned around 10% per year over long periods. Not guaranteed, but consistent enough to model. After 5 years, you're sitting on over $50,000. After 10, it's well into 6 figures. And here's where it starts to feel different. You didn't just save money. The growth starts doing work for you. By year 20, that number climbs past $500,000. And by year 30, it pushes toward $1.5 million. Let that sink in. You didn't earn that entire amount. You just didn't interrupt it. That's the difference. The car payment doesn't just cost you monthly. It quietly costs you the future version of that money. And that's the number nobody shows you in the dealership. But here's where people push back. They say, yeah, that sounds good on paper. But real life doesn't work like that. And they're not wrong. Because money isn't just math. It's behavior. And this is where things get interesting. Because the hardest part isn't investing. It's what happens right after the payment ends. That extra cash doesn't feel like an investment opportunity. It feels like breathing room. And when something feels like breathing room, people spend it. Slightly better dinners, a few upgrades, things that don't feel reckless. But slowly reset your baseline. And then something else happens. You start noticing your car again. The screen feels outdated. There's a noise you've been ignoring. The seat isn't as comfortable as it used to be. And without realizing it, your brain starts negotiating. Not with logic, with identity. Because cars aren't just transportation. They're signals. And that's not accidental. That's decades of marketing working exactly as designed. So now you're not asking what makes sense. You're asking what feels right. And that's how the cycle restarts. Quietly, predictably, almost automatically. The data on this is brutal. A large percentage of people trade in their cars before they're even paid off, rolling the remaining balance into a new loan, stacking old debt on top of new. They immediately owe more than what the car is worth. They never hit zero. They get close enough to see it, then turn around. Even among people who do finish, many restart the cycle within months. Because the system is designed that way. It's not random. It's engineered to keep you in debt. So breaking it requires something different. Not more discipline, a different setup. Because the people who win here don't rely on willpower. They rely on structure. And it starts with one move: automation. Before your brain has time to adjust, set up a transfer for the exact amount that used to leave your account. Same day, same number, different destination. Because if that money sits in your checking account, it won't stay there. It'll get used, not intentionally, just gradually. That's how behavior works. Next, you clean up anything working against you. High interest debt comes first, because investing while carrying high interest debt cancels itself out. It feels productive, but mathematically, it's not. Once that's handled, you build a buffer, something that keeps small problems from turning into long-term setbacks. Then you invest what's left. Simple, consistent, automatic. No guessing, just repetition. And here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. The biggest change isn't financial, it's mental. Debt takes up space, not physically, but cognitively. That constant background calculation, the timing, the what-if scenarios, they don't disappear. They sit there, running quietly. And when the debt disappears, so does that noise. People describe it as clarity, not excitement, clarity. Better decisions follow, not because they changed, because they have space again. But most people only experience that briefly before they trade it back in. So zoom out for a second. This isn't really about cars or even money. It's about control. The person driving a paid-off car with growing assets has options. They can walk away some things, take breaks, make decisions without pressure. And from the outside, none of that is visible because it doesn't show up in the driveway. The person in the newer car might look ahead, but they're locked into a different system, one that requires constant income, constant payments, constant continuation. So the question isn't which car is better, it's which system gives you more freedom, because that's what this decision actually controls, not the vehicle, the flexibility of your life. So if you ever see that balance hit zero, don't rush past it. That's not the end. That's the moment everything can change. If you handle the next 30 days differently, and here's the part most people don't want to hear, it won't feel exciting. It'll feel boring, quiet, almost like nothing happened. But that's exactly what makes it work. Because the biggest financial shifts don't feel dramatic. They feel small, repeated, unnoticed, until one day they're not. And the only real question is this: when that moment comes, do you reset the cycle or break it? If this video helped you, share it with a friend, show support for the channel, and hit the subscribe button.